Have you ever wondered why manifestation feels so complicated? Why it seems like the more you try, the more you affirm, visualize, journal, or meditate, the less it actually works. Here's the secret most people miss. Manifestation isn't about doing more. It's about becoming less attached. Because reality isn't responding to your effort. Reality is responding to your energy. And when your energy is scattered, when it's full of trying, striving, and chasing, you create resistance. But when your energy is still, clear, and aligned, that's when quantum manifestation becomes simple. That's when I am begins to move mountains. Why manifestation feels complicated? Most people struggle with manifestation for one simple reason. They confuse wanting with having. Every time you say, I want more money, I want a partner, I want freedom, you are unconsciously declaring, I don't have it. And the quantum field mirrors that back. Not your words, but the frequency beneath your words. The universe doesn't respond to I want. It responds to I am. When you say I am abundant, I am loved, I am free, and you embody it as your identity, the quantum field collapses around that signal. This is why trying harder keeps you stuck. Because the harder you try, the louder you broadcast the frequency of lack. The observer effect in identity quantum physics has already proven this. The observer effect shows that reality doesn't even exist in a fixed way until it's observed. Consciousness literally chooses which probability becomes real. But here's the hidden layer most don't realize. It's not just about observing, it's about who is observing. If the observer, you, is tuned to lack, fear, doubt, or unworthiness, that's the version of reality you collapse into. But if the observer, you, is tuned to worthiness, coherence, love, and trust, you collapse into a completely different reality. It's not what you look at that changes reality. It's who you are when you look. Why simplicity works. So why is quantum manifestation simpler than people think? Because when you strip away the effort, when you let go of forcing, rituals, and overcomplication, you return to your natural state of alignment. The universe doesn't need to be convinced. It only needs a clear, stable signal. Think of it like tuning a radio. When the frequency is clean, the music comes through effortlessly. When the frequency is full of static, you can't hear the song. Your job is not to fight the static. Your job is to tune in. And the simplest way to tune in is through the words I am. The power of I am. I am is not just language. It is a declaration of identity. It is the vibration of creation itself. When Moses asked God, who are you? The answer was, I am that I am. Why? Because everything begins with those two words. The moment you say, I am, you issue a command to the universe. I am tired, and your body will obey. I am broke, and reality will match it. I am abundant, and doors will begin to open. I am love, and people will reflect it back to you. This is not magic. This is physics. The frequency you declare as self becomes the signal the field mirrors back. The delay problem. But let's be honest. If this is true, why do manifestations feel delayed? Why does it sometimes take months, even years, to see the shift? The answer, your nervous system. You might be saying I am abundant, but if your body is stuck in survival, anxiety, fear, stress, then your field is incoherent. The quantum doesn't respond to surface words. It responds to embodied frequency. This is why manifestation isn't about forcing yourself to believe. It's about training your nervous system to feel safe in the new reality. When your body finally relaxes into the vibration of having, instead of clinging to the vibration of wanting, the delay disappears. From wanting, having. So how do you shift from wanting to having? Awareness. Catch yourself every time you say I want. Replace it with I am. Embodiment. Instead of faking it, ask, if I already had it, how would I breathe? How would I walk? How would I feel? Live from that energy now. Release. Stop checking for proof. Reality takes time to reflect, but the field is already reorganizing the moment you shift. The frequency technique. Here's a practice you can use daily. Sit in stillness. Place your hands on your heart. Whisper one statement, I am, Arxum. Fill it with what you desire. Don't just say it, feel it. Breathe it into your body, then pause, and let the silence show you that it's already true. That pause, that stillness, is where the quantum listens. The trap of overcomplication. This is why so many people get stuck. They chase method after method. They layer rituals on top of rituals. They look for a new trick to force reality to move faster. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, but nothing is shifting, stick around. The truth is simpler than you think, but it's not what you've been told. Why does simplicity work in the quantum field? And why do most people unconsciously resist it? Because most people don't actually want alignment. They want control. And control is the opposite of alignment. Let's go deeper. In quantum mechanics, reality doesn't pre-exist in a fixed form. It exists as probabilities, possibilities until something collapses the wave function. That something is consciousness, the observer, you. But here's what's often missed. It's not the intention alone that collapses the wave. It's the state of coherence behind it. Imagine trying to tune a radio to a specific frequency. You turn the dial, but instead of locking onto one signal, your hand keeps shifting between stations. Static, half music, interference. That's what most people are doing vibrationally, asking the universe for clarity while broadcasting confusion. Wanting love while vibrating unworthiness, wanting money while fearing lack, wanting peace while overthinking outcomes. So the field responds with more static because the quantum field doesn't speak English or affirmations or vision boards. It speaks vibration. And that vibration must be stable enough to register. This is why manifestation becomes so much simpler and more powerful when we remove the layers of trying, forcing, controlling. Because in that stillness, the signal sharpens, the emotion stabilizes, the intention becomes clean. There's a concept in quantum physics known as quantum decoherence. It refers to the loss of coherence in a quantum system when it becomes entangled with too many external variables and loses its unique unified state. Now let's apply that spiritually. You are a quantum system, your energy, your field, your emotional state. But when you entangle yourself with doubt, comparison, overanalysis, external validation, you decohere. You lose the energetic clarity that collapses reality in your favor. That's why the ones who manifest easily often look effortless. They're not careless. They're clear. They've stopped trying to manipulate the outcome, and instead they've become the embodiment of the outcome. They live in a state that says it's done not just in words, but in vibration. This is where simplicity becomes your superpower. When you remove the mental clutter and emotional chaos, you give the field a clear template to reflect. You become a clean receiver, a strong transmitter, and manifestation stops being a mystery. It becomes a mirror. But here's where it gets even more interesting. When you simplify your inner world, your outer world accelerates because there's less resistance in the field, less drag, fewer competing signals. This isn't a theory, it's physics. David Bohm, a pioneer in quantum theory, described the universe not as separate parts, but as a unified implicate order, a field of infinite information folded within itself. Your thoughts, feelings, and frequencies unfold into this field and reflect back your reality. So the question becomes, what are you unfolding into the field? Complication or coherence, noise or neutrality, effort or energetic clarity? Most people have been trained to believe that success, healing, love all require work, hard work, proof, struggle, sacrifice. This programming is so deep that when someone tells you it can be simple, your mind resists it. Why? Because simplicity threatens the ego's identity. If manifestation is simple, then maybe I've been overcomplicating things because deep down I don't feel worthy of ease, or because I still believe that value comes through struggle. This is where spirituality and quantum science meet. Simplicity is not a shortcut. It's a return to your natural frequency. And when you return to that state, uncluttered, unattached, unbothered, the universe doesn't need to be convinced. It just aligns. In the next part, we're going to reveal the most common energetic pattern that keeps people looping in complexity and how to break it. You'll see why wanting is often the very thing that blocks the having, because the field doesn't give you what you crave, it gives you what you are. And the more simply you embody that truth, the faster everything aligns. Stay with me. The shift happens not when you force it. Let's talk about the trap most people fall into, the one that quietly sabotages their manifestations, even when they think they're doing everything right. It's the energy of wanting. Wanting seems innocent. It sounds like desire. It feels like passion. But in the quantum field, there is a profound difference between desire and wanting. Desire arises from expansion. Wanting arises from lack. Desire says this would. That static your field is opening. And as it opens, reality begins to shift organically. That's what's next. In the final part of this video, we're going to reveal how to maintain this new state, not with effort, but with presence. You'll learn the final key. Why detachment isn't about not caring, but about caring so deeply that you trust the field to deliver better than your mind can imagine. Because in the quantum world, your biggest breakthroughs don't come from trying harder. They come from letting go of the timeline that says it has to be hard. And once you do, what was stuck begins to move. What was far becomes near. And what you used to chase and starts to chase you. So here we are. You've unlearned the noise. You've remembered the simplicity. You've felt the shift, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Now the question is, how do you stay here? How do you remain in this clean signal, this vibrational clarity, this effortless alignment when the world around you pulls you back into loops of effort, urgency, and overthinking? The answer isn't to fight the pull. It's to return again and again to the frequency of your higher knowing. That part of you that already understands manifestation is not magic. It's resonance. And resonance doesn't happen through effort. It happens through consistency. Consistency in presence, consistency in emotion, consistency in identity. You're not here to manipulate outcomes. You're here to become the embodiment of the outcome already lived. In quantum terms, you are choosing your timeline, not with your actions, but with your vibrational signature, your emotional default state, your energetic posture, the unseen signal you radiate even when you're silent. That's the truth most people miss. They keep chasing tools, new scripts, new techniques, hoping to unlock the next breakthrough. But all the tools in the world are useless if your identity is still anchored in lack. So here's the practice. Let it be simple. Let it be clear. Let it be done. Because when you stop questioning if it's coming, when you stop asking when it will show up, when you no longer vibrate as someone who needs, that's when the field collapses into form. Because the field doesn't follow your timeline, it follows your frequency. And your frequency stabilizes the moment you stop needing proof. So when you walk through your day, let your energy speak louder than your words. Let your presence transmit coherence. Let your posture carry the vibration of someone who no longer doubts because the field can't resist congruence. When you are aligned in thought, emotion, and embodiment, you become a magnet for everything you once chased. And here's the most paradoxical truth of all. The moment you no longer need it is the moment you collapse the version of reality where it already exists. Because needing is a frequency and having is a state. You don't need to convince the universe. You just need to convince your nervous system. Let it feel what it's like to have nothing missing. Let it anchor into the emotion of already. Let it soften into the simplicity of being. That's the shift. That's the magic. That's the science of manifestation. At the quantum level, you collapse reality not by pushing, but by becoming the version of you who never had to push in the first place. And now that you've remembered this truth, the field has already changed. It's listening, it's arranging, it's reflecting. So if something inside you resonated, if you felt even a flicker of relief, of clarity, of knowing, let that be your new frequency baseline. And if you want to keep expanding this field with us, if you want more than content, if you want resonance, community, and activation, subscribe not just to watch more, but to become more. Because this space is not about followers, it's about frequency. And if you're still here, you're not here by accident. You're remembering what your soul never forgot. It was never supposed to be hard. It's just supposed to be aligned. And alignment is simpler than you